The number one song is Art of Tones of Sam Carlson and some others called Because of You. So what I want to do, I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then we're gonna kind of blend it out, so to speak. Okay, here we go. Bear with me 1 minute. In the meantime, I'm super excited. As you know, our special guest is none other than the one, the only, Aaron K. Gray. That's a big deal, ladies. You know, that is a big deal. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit because, you know, Facebook has this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Here we go.
There was a time in my life that I felt unworthy. I felt unknown, unwanted, unappreciated. All because of you. There's so much love in my heart. I feel so good.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to fade that out because, you know, Facebook has this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. So, hey, next, just want to take a couple minutes just to kind of let you know some things that are coming up. Some birthdays. Tony Humphrey's birthday was just recently within the last week. And part of our crew, the Shy Vets, Michelle's birthday is today. And also, my daughter Chelsea's birthday is today. Herbert Stroman's birthday was this week. And Alvin Davis. Alvin Davis, as you know, does a lot of stuff from New York, and he's all over the place. He really is really making it happen. So listen, we're going to ask you to share. Aaron, can you hear me? Uh-huh.
I most certainly can.
Okay now. All right. So listen, a couple other things too. November 12th, Ice Productions is doing their thing. That's Steve Davis, Antoine Qua, and Johnny M. They're going to be doing their thing. I guess more information, get a hold of Steve. In addition to that, on November 18th, SMB, Scorpios Unleashed. That's going to be at the Holiday Inn, 160 frontage. And now it's going to be in Newark. That's in Newark. And it's right near the airport. Comedy and music the first night. So you're going to have Kenny Williams, Sleepy Floyd, Big Mama, and Howie Bell. On the 19th is the Scorpios Unleashed. They go black. DJs Raheem House Music, DJ Mustafa, Hassan Soulful Messiah, Mark Francis, and Naeem Johnson. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 9. That's what's happening. So that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of good stuff. Hey, we got some new music today. As you know, the Suzanne Free Zone is no longer going to play stuff that's out, so to speak. No, let me rephrase that. We're not going to play all the other stuff we used to play. It's going to be all new music. I'm getting a lot of brand new music, so I'm picking some songs, and then I'm going to play for the Suzanne Free Zone. And I want you to check it out. You can say you like it, don't like it, whatever, but you just never know when the next big hit is coming. So that's what's happening with that. Hey, listen, if you're on the live here, share, share to your friends, share to your groups, share to everyone. Share, 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 share. Now, I'm gonna play one song, and this is a classic. Before we bring up our special guest here, you may or may not recognize this song. Um, it's a classic. You could listen. As a matter of fact, it probably was. Matter of fact, it was the song of the summer. I think in 2019. So let's see if you remember this song here. I know I do. I loved it and sweat madly to it. Here we go. As usual, we want to play a little bit because Facebook has a nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Here we go. It's a classic, ladies and gentlemen. But as usual, we're going to fade it down because Facebook has this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Aaron K. Gray, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Yeah. Hey, Aaron, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. I cannot complain. How are you today, Dan?
Good. So listen, we're going to start off with the easy stuff. There's going to be people on the live who, for some reason or other, have been living on an alternative planet and may not have heard of you. But more so than that, maybe they don't even know the backstory, and maybe heard of you, but they don't know. So just in a minute or so, tell us a little bit about you and how did you get started in music?
So my name is Aaron K. Gray. I've been doing music since I was about 5 years old, but about 8 years ago, I was able to get into house music through some friends of mine, Noel Barbera and Junior White and Tony Humphreys. And that's kind of where everything started. And yeah.
All right. Now here's a question here. Now, who were some of your early music influences, house and not house?
So my non-house music influences from back then were like Kim Burrell, Karen Clark Sheard, Jay Moss, Smokey Norfolk. My house experience influences were Crystal Waters, CNC Music Factory, Rozola, people like that.
Okay.
CeCe Peniston.
Interesting. Now, what's exciting about that. I just have marveled and watched some of these people myself, and you're picking from good people. How about that? Now you started to tell us a little bit of how you got into house music. Now, like you woke up one morning and you found out that there was this thing called house music. But what made you go from just listening to actually like performing?
Well, I've always listened to house music, and I've always thought it was like really awesome and fascinating, but I just didn't have any way to actually get into the house market because nobody that I knew at that time was listening to house music. Everybody was listening to hip hop, R&B, rap, gospel music. So house was not in my circle at the time. It just happened to be that I started going to a church, and the producers for Wonder Why were there, and they spent some time watching me, and we got a chance to get to know each other. And they asked me if I'd be interested in doing house music. So that's kind of how everything started. I said yes, and the first track was Wonder Why in 2014, if I believe.
Okay.
And then things just kept rolling from there. Then I think it was Hallelujah, then Remind Myself, and a few more tracks.
All right. Now, who were some of your favorite artists back then? Some of your favorite artists from back in the day.
Yeah, it'd still be Kim Burrell and Karen Clark Sheard.
Okay. All right. And now, where is house music headed from your standpoint as a person who not only listens but participates in the process? Where do you see it going?
I'm not really sure because it's just like so after the pandemic, things have shifted, and I'm not sure that things have settled yet to a
Mm-hmm.
point where I can actually give a true feeling because it's just things are still changing. But it's nice to see that more vocals are being included in house music. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that is the new wave. It's going more vocally driven.
Okay. All right. Now, too, what's interesting is that you do have whole audiences that they don't mind some beats, so to speak, but then they do want to hear the vocals. Now, in terms of work, how did you, what does it take to be Aaron K. Gray? I mean, talk about the work and what.
You got that kind of time there?
Oh goodness. Yes. Uh-huh.
So
All right.
on a daily basis, I get up, I post, I scroll, I click like. That way I could start to be present with my people. I read, I write, I record, conference call after business meeting, after Zoom call, after argument.
Okay. Okay.
What we just talked about.
Let's keep.
Plans changing. It just
Yeah.
it never stops. It
Hmm.
really never stops. But
Yeah.
I gotta say thank God for my team because I have a team now,
Okay.
and they make it a lot easier for me to be able to give back to my community. But
Mm.
just a quick little tidbit: we are currently working on some clothing, and
Mm.
it's a permanent clothing line that we're trying to make it for um, everybody, but from the house community. So house
Mm.
is now going to start having our own face as far as clothing and clothing lines are concerned. So that's one thing that we're doing.
Um, if I may,
Logos and things. Yeah, we're doing a lot.
okay, let me just
Trying
jump
not to
in
tell
there.
you everything.
Let me jump in there for a minute. All right. Think about this for a second. All right. Let's say if you were a police officer, you would
Mhm.
have a uniform, you'd recognize it.
Uh-huh.
If you were fire, a clergy, you'd see the uniform, you'd recognize it.
Yep.
Hip hop has you can tell, there's a uniform, so to speak. There's a look.
Yep.
Goth, there's a look.
Yep.
What about house? We gotta have the house look.
There's the look. This is the house look.
Okay, all right, and we're just getting started here. All right, now and it's so funny because you are absolutely right. Excuse me. Um, I don't think I probably yeah.
I always think when I think of house and I think of the look of house, I always
Uh-huh.
think house is high end eclectic.
Okay. Now tell us what that means for us lay people.
Well, like the hat that you just saw, it's not just a hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hat that has something to say. I always think of the house music community, especially when it comes to what you dancers, singers, producers,
Mm-hmm.
everything that most of us have on has something to say. Either it
Mm-hmm.
being the wording that's on it or in the way that it's presented and how we wear things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a conversation being had that has its own attire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Again, I think that's part of making any culture pop.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, no matter what. I mean, like I remember back in the day, there was new wave. New wave, they had a look. So I think it's really about time that we had a look.
Yep.
So wow. Now, what don't people see about this journey in terms of being in this house music thing and being and I would say like, yeah, what don't they see that maybe from the outside you have a little different perspective maybe on the inside? What don't they see?
All the time that's spent creating music and making sure everything is appropriate for the people, because the people is what we do this for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sleepless nights, a lot of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that it can take anywhere from 60 days to 2 years to create the track for it to be right.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, people may hear music and you think it's new, and it is new. But
Mm-hmm.
to the producer, the label, the engineer, the artist, it's not new.
Mm. Yeah, they've
We've
been
been
out there
trying to
for.
get this out to you for a minute because we have something that we want to share with you and say to you, like, celebrate your life. That's a track that is coming out soon, and actually that track I've had it for about 2 years. But
Wow.
timing is everything. Like when Working came out, Working, I think that was a track that I'd had for about a year and a half before it was finally released. But timing is
Mm-hmm.
everything, and our
Mm-hmm.
timing is not the same as God's timing. So we just have to work with God's timing, because every time God puts out something or He decides to let it go, it's
Mm-hmm.
always the right timing. For me, prime example for that was Pray Until Something
Okay.
Happens, Push.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think
Right.
that was the first song that came out at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, but it was recorded in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right. Yeah. Well,
God's timing.
well. Speaking of timing, you know the difference between garbage and salad?
The dressing.
Timing.
Oh,
Timing.
just the dressing.
Anyway, I couldn't resist. Couldn't resist. Hey, let's talk about some of the like. I know there's been tougher times. You kind of like hinted at that,
Mm.
and there's and like really great times. So talk to us about um like some of the difficult parts of the journey and what's the best part. And I'm asking this for a reason, because there's probably people on the line who maybe thought about getting involved in this thing or want to do this kind of thing, and your insight could be very, very powerful for them. So just some of the difficult things, but some of the best parts of this.
So some of the most difficult things are staying consistent at times, because if you don't stay consistent, it's easy to not want to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this week everything may be beautiful. Following week things may not be as beautiful. So it's an emotional thing, so it will play with your emotions if you allow it to. But you
Mm-hmm.
also have to remember that as your journey in music goes, you will always run across people that will tell you the things that you're supposed to hear to give you the encouragement that you need to continue the journey. So
Mm-hmm.
my music is gospel house.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that it's gospel because of the perspective and the angle that it's written.
Mm-hmm.
So to have people tell me, thank you for writing this song, or thank you for singing this song, this saved my life, this got me through. These are the
Mm-hmm.
true rewards in the music. This is
Mm-hmm.
why I do music. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you have to want to do music for, to
Mm-hmm.
better the people that are around you and the people that listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because if you're not doing that, then you're making music and it's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful music, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not actually touching anybody. So for me, I make music to touch people.
Okay. Now, what advice would you give some people coming behind you? Because you've been at it for a hot minute. A lot of people don't even know that. And yeah, and you, of course, you're a lot older than I am. But anyway, uh, so you've been at this a long time. What advice would you give for somebody coming behind you regarding this thing?
Do it because it's what you love to do.
Okay.
Make sure
Mm-hmm.
that it's your passion and then
Mm-hmm.
it's your desire.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not, it will torture you.
Mm-hmm. I gotta share something with you here, but I want to give a few shout outs here. Uh, okay. Keisha's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Lynn Harrison. Yeah, I mentioned last week. I got a cough here. I told you, I think I mentioned last week that I had a friend die with a cough. I told you that last week, right? Yeah. Of course, at the time, he was in his neighbor's closet. But anyway, so Shay Barbie says, spend time with patience, even when it goes by, you'll realize it's worth it. Trust. This is from Dina Brown. Okay. I see Marcus Garrett. What's up? Pam Weathers. What's up? Keisha's in the house. Shonda T is in the house. Woo! Look at all these people come out to see you. Miss Shannon is clear. She say good evening. So that's that UK love. Oh my goodness. Yes. Sharon Kennedy Huff Barry is in that house. Woo! All right. So we got some more people in the house. We're gonna Robert Jameson. We're gonna acknowledge some more people as we go along. Hey folks, share. We have Aaron K. Gray here, who arguably is one of the top tippy top people in the whole gospel house thing. Now I want to ask you a question about that. Now I'm going to tell you what. So this is going back a couple years ago, and I turned a pastor on to some gospel house, and I gave him the song. He listened to it, and at first he usually gets right back to me, but he didn't get right back to me. So I said, Pastor, tell me about this. What did you think of this gospel house thing? He said, it's spiritually correct. He said, but it's too pulsating. So, when gospel people started doing rock and roll, they felt it was blasphemy. What's your thoughts as a person who does gospel house, and you're not doing the traditional Mahalia Jackson style, or even the R&B that's they play, and even they got some rockish style. What's your take on that?
Back to the Bible.
Okay.
God is the God of yesterday, today, and forevermore. God is forever progressing and changing. If you miss it, you miss it. And maybe it was not for you. If you miss it, you miss it. Yeah. Not being able to see God in all ways means that some part of your vision is impaired. That's what it really means to me. If you can identify that God's spirit is there, the rest of it I don't understand. So in praise and worship, when we have praise breaks, that tempo was about the exact same as house music.
Right.
So if you can shout and dance to that, what's the difference?
Got you. Now, you made a track called David Dance. Now, house is spiritual.
Yes.
And house can make you go into another world. But I believe when he ripped his clothes off, he was dancing to house music. That's just my personal.
The original house.
That's right. He was in the house. Anyway, I'm just saying, Anyway. So yeah.
Well, every time I think about that, that's why that song was written that way, because of the scripture. David danced out of his clothes. And that means you was dancing. You was dancing your behind off. In order to come up all the way up out of your clothes, it was relentless. You didn't stop.
Right.
Dancing is a part of gospel.
Right. So that, I'm telling you right now, that was not a ballad, ladies and gentlemen. David was dancing to house music. That's what that was. Anyway. Now, all right, I want to just ask this question, then I want to get into a little bit deeper here. And when you're making music, how important are the DJs, the dancers, promotions, producers to what you do?
Extremely.
Okay, where do they come in play? Uh-huh.
All right. So a lot of the DJs that I work with are also producers,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a perspective that an artist may not have. So they
Mm-hmm.
help me understand certain things. I help them understand certain things. It becomes a working relationship together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
With the dancers, they often tell you what will resonate with the people on the floor as far as the dance community is concerned. So those are things to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
These are my people. These
Right.
are the people that you need to pay attention to because they tell you
Mm-hmm.
what's going to
Right.
work and what's not going to work. And sometimes you, as an artist, we may have songs that we really want to work
Mm-hmm.
because we really like the songs, but
Right.
we have to remember that if it doesn't speak to the people and get the people in a position to where they could connect with it,
Mm-hmm. Got you.
you might not want to put that out. So I always like I have I thank God for the people that I'm connected with because like I sit down sometimes and if I'm not sure about a track, I will actually make some phone calls and say, "Yo, let's get together tonight." And I have some tracks I want you to listen to and give me your feedback.
Mm-hmm. Now, I got to tell you something. To your point, so as a DJ who does open format, so for example, Saturday I worked at St. Joseph's Hospital, and I had kids and I had people from the Indian community, I had people from the Bengali community, I had people from the Middle Eastern community, from the Latino community, African Americans, I had white folks. So it was a mix, and it doesn't matter how good you think you are, um, but it's got that reaction on the dance floor. That tells it all. I mean, sometimes you could play a mix and that mix is so hot, it's unbelievable. But
But
then
it don't speak to the people.
you
Yeah.
put that track on, it's the right mix, the energy and thing, and they walk off and you go, now, what just happened? You
It's
know?
not about how hot you think you are. It's
Exactly.
about how hot they think you are.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, here's I want to go a little bit deeper, and I know this is going to be, um, I know it's going to be very, very heartfelt in this conversation. Um, I want to talk about John Jackson, if I may. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, now we know he was a huge influence on you, and to me, John and I had a running thing where, John was a big Cowboys fan.
Yes.
And of course, me, the Giants fan, I always gave him, I gave him some flack. He gave me some flack. And, I'd say things. Listen, I just got a call from the Meadowlands. There's a guy walking around with a Cowboys
It
hat
was
on
John,
there.
wasn't it?
Right, right. Yeah. How did you guys meet?
So I was looking for a manager, and I
Mm-hmm.
ran across a few different managers. And at that time, I was really new, so I ran across some managers that I was like, "You guys would be dope, but
Mm-hmm.
your roster, I don't fit what's on your roster." So there was
Mm-hmm.
few that I shied away from, and
Mm-hmm.
then there were some that to me they just didn't give the artists that they have on their roster the support that I personally felt that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
But then I ran into John and I reached out
Mm-hmm.
to him, see if he'd be interested in managing me.
Mm-hmm.
He actually came to a show out in New Jersey, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how it started. He was like, "Yeah, definitely be interested in managing you."
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how everything started.
Mm-hmm.
When John came on board as my manager, I kid y'all not,
Mm-hmm.
everything got so much easier. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
were able to see so much music come out so
Mm-hmm.
fast because it allowed me to focus on the music while
Gotcha.
John focused on managing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the perfect team. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that both of us are respectful people, that made it
Mm-hmm.
even better
Mm-hmm.
because John didn't have to worry about, am I going to do something, cutthroat? I
Gotcha.
would not do that. I didn't have to worry about John doing something cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing when you have a manager or a
Mm-hmm.
team, that you
Mm-hmm.
find the people that will work with you and will not cut your throat. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to trust each other because there is no I in team.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. You know, I,
John was a
and
teacher too.
okay, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
he taught me a lot, like a whole lot about the music industry and about things that I need to do, how to stay on beat. 2023, you're gonna
Okay.
see
All right.
everything that John has taught me come into play, and it's
All
gonna
right.
all unfold.
All right. Well, listen. After you, well, now that you know how to sing on beat, there might there might there might be a few other aspiring artists out here, and on the live that might be thinking about that. But anyway, okay. But now, hey, how about a legacy? What would you say would be the impact his legacy? I mean, that would honor John.
The legacy that John left for me is that music is universal.
Mm-hmm.
Music is meant to touch and inspire.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to touch and inspire people through music.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so funny too because John and I would, we would have lengthy conversations and we would talk, beliefs, our philosophies, and things of that nature. And um, I remember when John passed, it
Mhm.
kind of like where you were when certain things happened.
Yeah.
I when I g- you, I got the message from you saying it was something related to John, but it said check your email, no, check your Facebook page, something like that. It was no. It said no, don't do it right now. Now you
Yeah,
know
because if I'm correct, I think we were in Orlando on
I was in Orlando.
vacation,
Yeah, yep, I was
and I
in
was like, you know
Disneyland.
what? No, Dan, no. Let me know when you're back. I'll talk to you about it when you're back. Because I was like, it was such a sad moment. Like the entire house community felt
Mm-hmm.
John's passing. They felt the loss and the missing of him. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, Dan's down in Orlando. He ain't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it when we come back. Let him know because I know how
Mm-hmm.
close you guys were.
Mm-hmm.
So it shifted a lot of things. Like from it took me a year to get back on track because Dan John was like
Mm-hmm.
uncle. You know
Yes.
what I mean? He was
Uh-huh. Yeah.
like my stepdad, my uncle
Mm-hmm.
in music. And
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you he walked me through everything, he taught
Mm-hmm.
me everything. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
waste any time, and he taught me not to waste any time,
Mm-hmm.
and the value of relationship and
Mm-hmm.
respecting people and always being good to people. I've always
Mm-hmm.
been good to people, but watching John do it on a totally different level that I do it on,
Mm-hmm.
it just made me realize I haven't come far enough to where
Mm-hmm.
John is at, and that became for me the new goal, and that's still what I'm going. Listen, when I tell you a remarkable man,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
John could walk into a room and you not even know who he is, and you
Mm.
would automatically gravitate towards him because you see how he is with other people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. He definitely was a good guy. Like I said, we used to go back and forth, and it's funny. You talk about that relationship, and in that relationship, that uncle to nephew relationship, um, I know sometimes there were things that you needed to learn, and sometimes you maybe had a little back and forth about it, but that was the power. Am I saying it mildly?
One time in particular, John and I. Okay, so all right, full backstory. I went and did a show. This was before the first time going to Winter Music Conference. So it's about
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2017. I did a show with Barbara, and Barbara Tucker said to me, "You look really good, but you look just a little bit pedestrian. We need you to look a little bit more artistry."
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I said that to John, and I said, "What does that mean?" so, so John went through explaining it to me. He gave me different images of different artists that are already there, and said,
Mm-hmm.
"This is more so what she's talking about, and that, and then there's that, and there's this." And I was like, So this, you mean? And John was like, no, that ain't it. So I
Okay.
said, okay, try again. Okay, so this, he's like, no, that ain't it. I
Okay.
don't understand it. So like, we went back and forth, and then I had frustrated John. So John was like, nigga, you don't figure this out before we had to go down to Miami. So I said, okay, let me.
Okay.
Woosah, woosah.
All right.
Once I
Okay.
finally got in that call, John was like, yes, that's it.
Okay.
But the most important thing of it was realizing that John and I, we weren't arguing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did yell at me, but it was to
Okay.
snap me into place because I
Gotcha.
needed to get it and I didn't have a lot of time to waste.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you have managers and people that are around you, they may listen, and it's not that they're yelling at you. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to wake you up so that way you
Mm-hmm.
can get on track and do
Mm-hmm.
what has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
don't, I
Wow.
always, I'm grateful
Mm-hmm.
because me not being such a sensitive person, it made it so much easier. If you have a
Mm-hmm.
manager, don't be sensitive. Don't
Mm.
be sensitive.
Mm.
If they yell at you, understand that they're yelling at you for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My teachers used to yell at me more so than some of the other students in the class because they saw the potential that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see yet. And
Mm-hmm.
once I finally got the potential, the exuberant joy from them was so
Mm-hmm.
massive that it didn't make any sense to me
Mm-hmm.
until I
Mm-hmm.
got older and I began to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with music. They are going to get in your butt for you to get
Mm-hmm.
it right.
Right.
Once you
Right.
get it right, everybody can celebrate because you finally got what you
Mm-hmm.
needed to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many times I've heard teachers say, but you have so much potential. And I can remember being in college and
Some teachers
you
will
know
tell you you have the potential, and some teachers will say, "Listen, come here, let's go get this because you got this. You just, hold it. We're not playing no games." And
you
most of
know
my teachers were that they'll grab you. Let's go because you got this, and
mhm,
this is for you. You got
yeah,
this. Come on.
yeah, yeah. Well, again, you're probably you're right about that sensitivity thing. Well, I guess the real key is that that they're working in your best interest. And John was that kind of guy. We would go back and forth. I mean, John and I would get on the phone and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I say within an hour or two, we'd straighten out the whole world problems.
Yep,
That's
that's
that
just
was
how John is. That's how you are too, Dan.
that. Anyway. Anyway, all right. Well, listen, tell my kids that. Anyway.
There was
Now.
one time that John and there was a lady who reached out to me because she wanted to book me for an event.
Mhm.
And I said to her, I don't do anything without my manager. So you're going to have to reach out to him. Here is his
Mhm.
information, and he will get back to you ASAP. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they were trying to work it out. She got a
Okay.
little nasty with John and then
Mm.
want to call me crying wolf.
Mm.
So I'm like, all right, hold on. Let me try to see what I can do. Let me call John. So
Mhm.
I asked John, I said, what happened?
Mhm.
So John
Yeah.
sent me a whole conversation that they had
Okay.
because they were talking on Facebook.
Mhm.
But because
Yeah.
I know my manager,
Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
asked him what happened. And when he showed me, because I trusted him,
Mhm.
do you think I gave him any backlash?
Mm. Mm-mm.
The whole thing
Mm.
was the person wasn't the nicest to John. John was
Mm.
still chill about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a way that things have to be done, especially with contracts. If you're
Mm.
not willing to do it that way, then we appreciate you for reaching out to us and expressing
Mhm.
interest, but we cannot work with you.
Right. Right.
Long story short,
Right.
she went
Right.
ahead and did the contract. She had to do the contract that way because it's business.
Right.
But
Right.
you have to
Right.
be kind. You have to be nice to everybody.
Mm.
You can't be
Mm.
dishonest because
Right.
the truth will
Right.
find you out.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, let's talk about the music. What's your process in selecting music? I mean, do you produce music or tracks presented to you? What happens?
Very lightly do I get into the production side of things, but for the most part, I stay in my lane as a singer and a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, what happens is a producer will have a track. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for a vocalist. They'll hit me up
Okay.
and they'll send me the track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
I'll feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So listening to it means I'm listening to the musicality, the sounds, the different hears and notes.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling it means I'm trying to see where the song takes me, what kind of a journey the song takes me on. Where is the song
Mm-hmm.
itself in what it feels like?
Mm-hmm.
And in experiencing it is writing to it. So
Mm-hmm.
once as I'm feeling it, and I began to write what it feels like, so it becomes an experience
Mm-hmm.
with the music. So then after the song is written, then I get to sit back and listen, think about it. Do I need to change anything, etc. And if not, then I reach out to the producer, let them know that the song is written, talk
Mm-hmm.
to them about the engineer, set up
Mm-hmm.
time, etc., payment, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Record, send it back. I personally,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so when I go into the studio and record, I like my vocals thick. So I do
Okay.
stacks of 4 for everything
Okay.
and never anything less than a 5-part harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I send out lead vocals, they're
Mm-hmm.
recorded 2 or 3 times. So you have
Okay.
3 different passes.
Okay. You all right?
I apologize.
Okay.
So you have 3 different passes
Mm-hmm.
of the lead vocals so that you can choose which one you want, maybe decide if you want to chop it up.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have 3, 4 passes of the ad libs for you to do the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. So I do that so that way I can give the producer more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's better
Mm-hmm.
to give you too much than to
Mm-hmm.
not give you enough. Because
Got
if
you.
you have too much, you have
Mm-hmm.
everything that you need. If you
Got
don't
you.
have enough, you may have to have me go back into the studio. That's more time and that's more money wasted.
Got you. Got you. It's better to have it not needed than needed to not have it. Old
Exactly.
saying goes. All right. Now let's talk this about now your process. What's your process? And when you make a track, do you know that hey boy, this is a hit? I mean, okay.
Nobody ever knows that.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna be
right.
straight with you. Even people have been doing it for 60 years and you're still in the
Uh-huh.
music industry, you don't know.
Yeah.
You can believe in a roundabout way because of what has happened and how it fits with some of the other music that has been more popular. You can believe that it can be a hit
Mm-hmm.
statistically,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't always mean you can't. People are not statistics. You cannot think that. Okay, let's say I thought so. Okay, real true story.
Okay.
Working, prime
Uh-huh.
example.
Uh-huh.
I sat on that for a year and a half because when John and I talked about it while he was still alive, John said to me, that's not it. So I waited. I was like,
Okay.
playing no games. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold on to that
Okay.
and see what's going on.
Uh-huh.
So Masaki and I, we started talking about it, started, moving things around differently because I kept talking to Masaki about it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I was saying to John, nope, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
When John passed away,
Mm-hmm.
Masaki sent me a mix
Mm.
of Working.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, my God, today, what is going on? That thing was smoking. It was
Yes.
so hot
Yes.
that I just kept saying to myself, I would love for John to be here to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still did not know of that song to be a hit. So
Mm.
after all that time, we put the song out. And
Mm-hmm.
then the version that went the highest up on the charts
Mm.
was the original version, which is the one that John said,
And that's something. Wow.
John with
Wow.
all of his experience and
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. And the majority of the time, if John said it was going to work, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't see that coming, and I don't know why. But that's why I say you cannot always predict what people will like and
Mm-hmm.
what people will gravitate towards. You just got to do the best that you can and put it out. Hope, pray.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to fast. You go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
fast on the music if you
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
to. But hope for the best. Do your
Mm-hmm.
best and be satisfied with your best when you put it out. And don't
Yes.
be upset if the
Mm-hmm.
people don't gravitate towards it. It may not be for now. You never know. 5 years down the line, that
Mm-hmm.
become the track that everybody was looking for, but you was
Okay.
just early when you're with your delivery.
Which brings us to resting place.
Hmm.
Did you predict resting place? Because
No,
I, I got to tell you, I did not know that was going to have that level of love.
I didn't either.
And many could argue that that was the song of the summer, 2019. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Didn't see it coming, but
Neither did I.
it became an anthem. It's still an anthem.
Totally unexpected, totally unpredictable and unpredicted. Like I
Mm-hmm.
say, you don't know what will resonate with the people. The
Mm-hmm.
people will let you know if it's a hit or not. You can't say, "Hey, people, this is a hit. I'm throwing this out there. I hope you like it." You have to, I hope you like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people will say, "You know what? That's it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that's what
Yeah.
the people tell you, then guess
Yeah.
what? You have
Mm-hmm.
a hit.
Name some people that you've worked with: producers, artists, writers. And is there anybody on your bucket list?
So recently, I just did a track with Marcus Wade, and it's an I'm a piano track called "I Love You."
Okay.
Christ,
Okay. You hear
what a
that,
voice!
folks?
I Jesus. Oh, and so I can't wait for you guys to be able to hear that, experience, and fall in love with it because yeah. So
Okay.
we have Doug Gomez.
Yes.
He has an album that is coming out, and if you catch some of his lives on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
you will catch him playing "Without You."
Mm.
Um, let's see. Then we have Home Sweet Home, which is
Mm-hmm.
out, almost out on vinyl. I think on the 28th it'll be out on vinyl, and then it'll be going up for a pre-order for digital. So
Okay.
those are the threes that are coming out. But then there's 13 more songs that are waiting
Okay.
for next year.
Woo, woo,
Celebrate
woo,
Your
woo,
Life is one
woo.
of them.
Uh-huh.
Um, Think About You is another. Fire is another.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Supernatural Wings.
Okay.
And so the Goody Goody Boys.
Okay.
There's also, oh, okay. Mark Francis and I.
Uh-huh.
Now remember Resting Place.
Right.
We at it again, okay? Just gonna
Uh-oh.
tell y'all now. We're
Okay.
not
All
done,
right.
and I think it might hit something kind of like Resting Place does,
Okay. All right. All
because it's
right.
got that kind of an emotional attachment.
Mm. Okay.
And if you know Smokey Norfolk, I Need You Now, you know what I'm
Mm.
talking about.
Okay.
But I love what was done with the track because it's a ballad,
Okay.
and it's not easy to turn a ballad into a house track.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We got you.
Folks,
We got you.
spread the word. I'm gonna give a
Buck
few shout.
Francis and Aaron K. Gray is up to it again.
Uh-oh. 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 Listen, I just had a thought, and then I came to myself. I was saying, listen, I need to get in on that. But anyway, then I came to myself. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
Kenny Bobian and I, we just did a song called Never not too long ago. We finished recording. So I love the track because when you listen to us, you can't really tell us apart.
oh wow.
So I want to know who's gonna think who is who. So
Wow.
it's gonna be interesting. It's a beautiful track produced by Masaki Mori.
Oh yes.
That's another one that we've been working on for a couple of years. So
Okay. Hmm.
some songs
Uh,
it's a short time, some are a long time.
mm-hmm.
I absolutely honored and floored by the people that I'm working with. They
Mm.
are a blessing. They will
Mm-hmm.
always be a blessing. They've always been a blessing.
Mm.
On my bucket list, though,
Okay.
I want to
All
work with Yesto,
right.
Louis Vega.
Okay. All right.
Um, I really want to do a track with Lady Alma.
Okay. Uh-oh. Lady Alma.
I really,
Uh-oh.
really, we're gonna see if we can get it to happen. But I
Okay.
really want to do a track with Lady Alma,
Mm.
mainly because every time I think of her, I never forget. I will never forget
Mm.
us going down to Baltimore, and we were
Mm.
at the Safari Club.
Mm-hmm.
The energy that we shared that night,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it just the whole room felt it. And it's
Mm.
rare that two artists get together and they do an event together, and then the energy just from one artist to the next, it just
Mm.
builds and just captivates the audience.
Well,
That's an
wow.
experience that touched both Lady Alma and I and all the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that has to be repeated. Music is about touching people. Yes, music is great to dance to, especially
Mm-hmm.
house music.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine you get on the floor and you dancing and you love the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the song hits you in an emotional place.
Right,
Your
right.
dance will change.
Mm-hmm. Right. I need to tell you, Lady Alma will find out about this today. I'm telling you.
So my
Hey.
phone rings, I know why.
I want to give a few shout outs here. DJ Wakil Ali is in the house. Look at all these people came out to see
Wakil,
you. Tanya Belch, Treehouse
Tanya,
in the house. DJ Marcus Alonso, what's up?
what's up,
Basil, brother Basil is in the house. Oh man, thing going. Kim Moultrie, what's up? I mean,
baby? Get
just
in the
so many good
house.
people. Cynthia E. Green is in the house.
Hey,
Oh my
Cynthia.
goodness. So many good people. So many good people.
Oh, but wait, Dan, because
Uh-huh.
your birthday is this month too, ain't it?
November 28th. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who don't see me on November 28th, don't worry. I'll be taking late gifts. So it's okay. It's
Okay, well,
okay.
I'm gonna give you one early, right? You and Michelle, I'm gonna get y'all at the same time.
Okay. Got
Happy
it. You got it.
birthday to
Mm-hmm.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Dan and Michelle. Oh, wow. Happy birthday to
All
you.
right. Now I want to add two more names to that. Son and Cassie are also November babies.
I forgot. Happy
Yeah.
birthday to
Remix. Remix.
Happy
Okay.
birthday to you as well, Son and Cassie. I love you guys so much. May you all have amazing birthdays and be
Mm-hmm.
blessed this year to
Mm-hmm.
remember that you are loved and never forget it.
Got you. Absolutely. Hey, listen, you're a lot of people consider you a gospel house artist. Is that fair or do you do other things?
I'm starting to step into the lane of I'm a piano because it's a bit house, but at the same time it's a split. So originally I came from gospel, R&B. So those are the influences that you hear in the house music that I make. So that's why I write the way that I write and I sing the way that I sing. Um, because I like the fusion that it makes. It's something a little bit different than solely soulful house. It's like soulful house plus in a way.
Okay. And well, you want to ask that question. Name some places you've sung, and is there any place that you still want to sing?
I have been all over Italy, and
Mm,
I absolutely love Italy.
okay.
I want to go to Africa
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
sing.
Okay. All right.
Um, I want to go to Africa. I want to go to France. I want to go to Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
want to go to those places and sing. I've been a lot of places in the United States to go and sing, and I absolutely love singing both at home and overseas.
Mm-hmm.
The experiences are very, very different.
Okay.
But how
Talk
I
to us.
love them both equally because love is love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I really want to go to Africa.
Okay.
I
So
really
talk
do.
talk to us about that out of the U.S. experience in terms of your audience or reaction, or what's you said it's different. How are they different? What would you say?
I think because of the fact that you're coming from overseas,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a big wow. Like to them, it's like a bigger wow.
Mm.
I guess being an American artist going to Europe is a bigger deal to them than being a European artist traveling to another place in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It is sometimes based on the way that they respond to me, it just kind of feels that way.
Mm.
But I kind of get it because like when you have some people that come from overseas to the United States, depending on who they are, and they're doing an event, it's like they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, versus my American family is different. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they know me.
Got you.
So yeah, it's like they know me. So they come out and be supportive just because they know me, not because, oh, I know who that person is from seeing them overseas. It's that
Right.
I'm more of a family oriented kind of like if you had to do a show for family. It becomes
Gotcha.
a bit more of okay. Prime example. That's why I wrote "Home Sweet Home" because every
Mm-hmm.
time I come out with the house music community, I
Mm-hmm.
always feel like I'm home, not
Mm-hmm.
as a location, but home
Mm-hmm.
as because of the people. So it doesn't matter
Got you.
where I am, the people make me feel like I'm home because
Mm-hmm.
the people are my home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fantastic. We're getting right down to the wire here, and
To the
you.
right, to the limit, to the wall.
What a song about it? Want to hear it? Here you go.
Here you go.
Anyway, um, okay. So I like to ask this question. I want to ask you too. All right. Let's say you have three house music wishes. What are they? But you have to use at least two.
I pray that this house community that we are looked at as underground eventually, that
Mm-hmm.
quick eventually becomes what everybody turns to now. Because we've
Mm-hmm.
seen everything else has had its rise, but we've
Mm-hmm.
not seen the rise of house. So that's one. I want to see the rise of house.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also want to see everybody start to eat at the table together because there's enough food at the table for all of us to eat together without any kind of arguing or bickering or anything of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in the house music community should be at odds with anybody for any reason because we all do the same thing as a family.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the table is massive.
Yes. Yes,
Everybody
it
can pull
is.
up a seat.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I want to also say to you is you have one wish left. Do you want to keep it or do you want to share it with us?
I'm gonna share that.
Okay. Uh,
I I pray that everybody in the house community, whether you be a dancer, just a person that supports it, a listener, somebody new,
mm-hmm.
a producer,
Mm-hmm.
label engineer, I pray that everybody is just well. I just want to see everybody happy and well, financially stable, worried about nothing, stressed about nothing, free.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is what I really, these are the things that I really want to see because y'all are my people. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to see nothing but the best for my people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see nobody taking the train. I want y'all all driving in cars. For
Now,
real.
now, but let's be specific. You talking about a hoopty, or you talking about the well? Anyway, just asking.
Oh, car, cage. So when it come rolling down the street, that's house music and that's a car.
You got it. Hey, listen, we're Jeffrey C is in the house. By the way, Jeffrey C was on last week. Go back and check him out. And
Jeffrey.
yeah, he's got some surprises coming. Anyway, um, okay, we're down to the wire. We're avoiding a crash landing. We're going to have a soft landing. What can we expect? Any final thoughts? Anything you want to highlight? Anything you want us to walk away with?
So as this year comes to a close, and y'all have seen it's been a very quiet year for me. I need y'all
Mm-hmm.
to remember,
Mm-hmm.
like you've seen Janet Jackson do it,
Mm-hmm.
seen Tina Turner do it, we've seen Madonna do it. When you see an artist like me disappear for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
put on your seatbelt.
Okay now. Okay now. You
Put
say
on your
you'll be riding
seatbelt.
a car, right?
Ah,
Fantastic.
I
Richie Leader says
miss
he's going to bring
y'all.
you to the UK. All right now.
I'm with it. I miss y'all. I love y'all, and I apologize for not giving you music this year. But I'm going to make up for it because next year
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get even more acquainted. But I
Mm.
did need this year to grieve. I
Mm.
miss my buddy.
Mm-hmm. Right,
He's
right,
always
right.
here. There's
Mm-hmm.
some times where I have conversations with. So I have a team now. So you guys are going to start to meet my team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of the things that the conversations that I have with the team, it feels like John is in the middle of the conversation. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that John and I have talked about, I haven't shared with anybody else, but all of a sudden a team member make a call and then boom, it's happening. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, thank you, John.
Mm-hmm.
So that be the best you that you can be and don't
Mm-hmm.
let anybody steal your thunder
Mm.
because they can't handle you being the best you that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't meant to be around everybody. If they can't take it, you don't ask a pencil to stop being a pencil because you want to
Right.
use a pen. You
Preach,
go
brother,
find a
preach.
pen.
Get, get those words in, brother. Get those words. Hey.
So be all of the beautiful person that you are meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold
Absolutely.
back.
Right,
Don't
right,
hold back. You will
right.
not regret it because you being you will draw all of the right people that are supposed to be in your life to you.
I agree.
And then you'll have the happy, fulfilled life that you were always meant to have.
Mm-hmm.
But first, you got to continue to be you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, and a lot of people become very uncomfortable with who they are, and but what you got to realize is that
It's
um,
easy to become uncomfortable with who you are if you are not stereotypically what other people look for or expect that you should be. But people have to understand that your expectations on my life mean nothing.
right, right,
My
and
life, I got to live it.
okay, that's some great advice. I always like to say is that you do you because your people will hear your voice. Your people will hear
Absolutely.
your voice. Uh huh. Wow. All right. Hey, if people want to follow you, support you, keep up with you, whatever, Mark Francis is in the house. What's up, Mark?
Mark Francis, Mark Francis, Mark
Mark
Francis,
Francis.
Mark
Okay.
Francis, Mark
Okay.
Francis.
Hold on. Hold on. I feel like breaking out into song, but I'm gonna hold off.
Mark, I just told them about a little bit about I Need You Now. I told them we up to it again. Oh boy. Rest in Place was the first one. Here's another one. We up to it.
Uh, all right. All right. So people want to follow you, support you, keep up with you. How do they do it?
So I just started TikTok. I just got on TikTok. I'm a bit more on TikTok now to try to grow my audience. Connect with me on TikTok. Every morning I'm on there talking about something positive or just giving you a good laugh. So find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Am I forgetting anything?
Mm, mm, Facebook,
Twitch.
Instagram, Twitter, Instagram,
Twitch,
Twitch.
I'm gonna start using Twitch soon. So we're gonna go do live concerts on Twitch because I told y'all there's a lot of music that's coming out, right? So we're gonna start bringing in some old and some new together, and we're gonna rock on Twitch. I'm gonna try to get to do this with you guys at least once a month. So when it starts, y'all be ready. But that's also connect with me there now. Please connect with me now so that way when things start happening, you don't miss anything. You don't find out too late. Let me see
Fantastic.
what else. Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay. All right. Now, listen, I just want to say thank you so much for coming out and spending time. We had a little bit of a rocky start, but we're up and moving again, which is exciting. We're going to go into the Shazam Free Zone. What's different now with the Shazam Free Zone? We're going to play only brand new stuff. Now, on this, of course, we're gonna play Home. We're gonna play Home Sweet Home. Okay. Also, too, we've got new music by Vanessa L. Smith, who we all
hey.
know and love, right? We've got new music by King T Finesse. I'm gonna play his two new tracks, and then I have some more new stuff. So if you got new stuff, you want to get the word out, ladies and gentlemen, the Shazam Free Zone is now dedicated to playing straight up new music. And in addition to that, what makes it Shazam Free Zone is we're going to tell you what the name of the song is. How about that
Hey.
one? So you don't have to Shazam it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this thing started. Again, I'm super excited, Aaron. We talked last night too,
Yes.
and we've had long talks too, and it's just really, really my joy and a pleasure, to have you in this conversation. I mean,
Likewise.
yeah, we go like so deep with this thing. It's like, okay, yeah, yeah. So, folks, hang on. We're gonna do.
Before I go, I just want to tell everybody thank you so much for tuning in to check me out on this interview at SOULFUL Nation with Dan Schreiber.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on. Hey,
No
ladies and
problem.
gentlemen, we're gonna have, like I said, we got some brand new stuff, and time's a little bit shorter today. But listen, we're gonna go in. We're gonna go hard. We're gonna start off with Aaron K. Gray and Demure. It's called Home Sweet Home. And then I got stuff by King T Finesse. I got stuff by Vanessa L. Smith. I got stuff. Well, you're going to see. Here we go. We're going to play for about a good solid here. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan with Soulful Hot Stage coming to you live from the 8th floor. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. This is Home Sweet Home. We're going to go to Twitch. Our new label on Twitch is the Soulful House Nation Show. The Soulful House Nation Show. Thank you, son, for that. The Soulful House Nation Show. This is Home Sweet Home, ladies and gentlemen. New track, brand new track. Not even really proper released yet, but we got to hear it.
Yep, not yet. Be out this month.
When I think of you, I think of a place called home. Yeah. When I see you, I see beautiful people I know. Since when I'm home, I'm never alone. I enjoy my time with you. You're my family, you're my home. This smile is you, and the joy that you bring, that I know. Just knowing you has a greater value than gold. You done you, so precious and more than a stone. Let me love on you, my sister, my brother, your home. Sweet home, home, sweet home. This is my home, sweet home. You are my home, sweet home. I love my home, sweet home. Beautiful home, sweet home. Home, this is my home. When I think of you, I think of a place called home. Yeah. When I see you, I see beautiful people I know. Spending time with you, since when I'm home, I'm never alone. I enjoy my time with you. You're my family, you're my home. This smile is you, and the joy that you bring, that I know. Just knowing you has a greater value than gold. You done you, so precious and more than a stone.
The track you heard was Home Sweet Home. This is King T Finesse, called Be Yourself. Wow. Just so you know, King T Finesse is the one who put this Soulful House Nation theme together. This is called Be Yourself.
I wanna dance with you, dance all night.